Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's External Affairs Minister slams Pakistan at UNGA, calls it the epicenter of global terrorism, asserts India exercised its right to defend its people after Pahalgam terror attack. Dr. Jaishankar urges UN reform and empathy for Global South at UNGA, says India stands ready to assume greater responsibilities, also calls for building peace and upholding human dignity. UN sanctions reimposed on Iran for the first time in a decade after last-ditch nuclear talks with Western powers failed. US calls on Iran to engage in direct talks. At least 39 people killed in a stampede at a political rally in southern India's Karur. Tamil Nadu government announces probe. Condolences poured in from across the country. And after 41 years and 17 editions, India and Pakistan clash in Asia Cup final at Dubai International Stadium today. Men in blue look to continue their unbeaten run. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar addressed the 80th session of United Nations General Assembly in New York on Saturday, stepping in as India's primary speaker at the high-level general debate. Speaking under the theme Better Together, 80 years and more for peace, development and human rights, Dr. Jaishankar reaffirmed India's commitment to global peace. The minister emphasized that counter-terrorism remains a key priority as it embodies bigotry, violence, intolerance and fear.
Madam President, Excellencies, while asserting our rights, we must also firmly face up to threats. Countering terrorism is a particular priority because it synthesizes bigotry, violence, intolerance and fear. India has confronted this challenge since independence, having a neighbor that is an epicenter of global terrorism. For decades now, major international terrorist attacks are traced back to that one country. UN's designated lists of terrorists are replete with its nationals. The most recent example of cross-border barbarism was the murder of innocent tourists in Pahalgam in April this year. India exercised its right to defend its people against terrorism and brought its organizers and perpetrators to justice.
And Dr. Jaishankar also pushed for urgent reforms to the United Nations Security Council and said India is prepared to shoulder greater responsibilities as part of a reformed Security Council.
Central to the erosion of the UN's credibility has been resistance to reform. Most members strongly desire change, but the process is being made an obstacle to the outcome. It is imperative that we see through this cynicism and purposefully address the reform agenda. The historical injustice done to Africa should be redressed. Both permanent and non-permanent membership of the Council must be expanded. A reformed Council must be truly representative, and India stands ready to assume greater responsibilities.
The External Affairs Minister also called for an end to hostilities in Ukraine and Gaza.
We must ask ourselves today, how has the UN lived up to expectations? And just look at the state of the world. There are two significant conflicts underway, one in Ukraine and the other in the Middle East, West Asia. Innumerable other hotspots don't even make the news. The slow progress of the SDG Agenda 2030 presents a sorry picture. On climate change, the reality is of recirculated commitments and creative accounting. If climate action itself is questioned, what hope is there for climate justice? When a once-in-a-century pandemic hits us, we saw open discrimination in access to vaccines and to travel. Energy and food security have been the first casualties of conflict and disruption, especially since 2022. Better off societies insulated themselves by having the first call. The resource-stressed ones scrambled to survive, only to hear sanctimonious lectures thereafter.
Dr. Jaishankar also highlighted rising tariff volatility and uncertain market access, stressing that de-risking has now become a global necessity.
When it came to trade, non-market practices gamed rules and regimes. The resulting concentration exposed the world to leveraging. On top of that, we now see tariff volatility and uncertain market access. As a result, de-risking is a growing compulsion, whether from limited sources of supply or over-dependence on a particular market.
And widespread UN sanctions against Iran returned into force late Saturday for the first time in a decade after last-ditch nuclear talks when Western powers failed to produce a breakthrough. Britain, France and Germany triggered the return of sanctions on Iran at the UN Security Council over accusations the country has violated a 2015 deal that aimed to stop it developing a nuclear bomb. Iran denies seeking nuclear weapons. An 11th-hour effort by Iran allies Russia and China to postpone the sanctions until April failed to win enough votes in the Security Council on Friday, leading to the measures taking effect at midnight GMT Sunday. Iran will again be subjected to an arms embargo and a ban on all uranium enrichment and reprocessing activities and any activity related to ballistic missiles capable of delivering nuclear weapons, including launches. Other sanctions to be reimposed include a travel ban on dozens of Iranian individuals, an asset freeze on dozens of Iranian individuals and entities, and a ban on the supply of anything that could be used in Iran's nuclear program. All countries are authorized to seize and dispose of any items banned under UN sanctions, and Iran will be prohibited from acquiring an interest in any commercial activity in another country involving uranium mining, production or use of nuclear materials and technology. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio urged Tehran to engage in direct talks with U.S. after UN sanctions return. Rubio also called on UN member states to immediately implement sanctions to pressure Iran's leaders to do what is right for the nation and best for the safety of the world. The British, French and German foreign ministers said in a joint statement they would continue to seek a new diplomatic solution to ensure Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. They also called on Tehran to refrain from any escalatory action. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi urged UN Secretary General to prevent a revival of mechanisms to implement UN sanctions after they were reimposed on Tehran. Araghchi wrote in a letter posted on X, and I quote him here, "We urge you to prevent any attempt to revive the sanctions mechanisms, including the Sanctions Committee and the panel of experts. Tehran will not recognize any attempt to extend, revive or enforce UN sanctions." Ukrainian government officials will visit the United States at the end of September or the next month for talks on major deals involving weapons purchases and drone production. Ukraine has previously prepared a deal worth about $90 billion to purchase American weapons and has shared its vision with Trump's administration. Kiev was ready to discuss separate agreements, including on long-range weapons, President Volodymyr Zelensky said officials would also discuss the economy during the visits. During more than 3.5 years of the war against Russia, Ukraine has created a robust drone industry from scratch with hundreds of producers making millions of drones. Zelensky said that he had shared a certain vision with Trump on how to respond to Russia's actions. Now, polls open in Chisinau on Sunday as Moldovans vote in a parliamentary election that could have a major impact on the government's quest to join the European Union, as a popular pro-Russian group seeks to steer the small nation away from closer ties with the bloc. If no party wins a majority in 101-seat parliament, negotiations and deal-making will likely occur, causing further instability in one of Europe's poorest countries. To a government aspiring to join the EU, control of parliament is vital for the long-term legislative efforts required. Moscow has denied meddling and said the PAS-controlled government is spreading anti-Russian hysteria to win votes. The junta-led country of Guinea announced that the presidential election will be held on December 28. The announcement followed the Supreme Court's approval of a referendum result that endorsed a new constitution clearing the path for the upcoming elections. Opposition parties urged voters to boycott the referendum, accusing General Mamadi Doumbouya of leveraging it to maintain his hold on power. However, the Supreme Court dismissed a petition to annul the referendum results, and indications suggest that Doumbouya might run for president despite earlier pledges not to. All right, weather updates now. Vietnam closed airports and evacuated thousands of people in potentially affected areas on Sunday as intensifying typhoon Bua Loi barreled towards the country days after causing at least 11 deaths and widespread flooding in the Philippines. The typhoon is expected to make landfall in central Vietnam late on Sunday. Meanwhile, authorities in the central province of Ha Tinh have started evacuating over 15,000 people. Heavy rain has already caused flooding in Hue and Quang Tri. Meanwhile, southern China's Hainan province has raised its typhoon alert and suspended transport and school operations as typhoon Bua Loi intensifies over the South China Sea, bringing the threat of strong winds and torrential rain across the island. To cope with the typhoon Haiku, Hainan's capital city suspended ports operations from 0900 on Saturday, with closures expected to last until the night of Sunday. Rail services have also been disrupted, with all outbound trains and 2 inbound trains cancelled on Saturday. A full suspension of inbound and outbound trains is scheduled for Sunday, while 4 inbound and 1 outbound train are set to be cancelled on Monday. Authorities warn that the storm's impact will peak between Sunday and Monday, with widespread downpours and dangerous gusts expected, while port, rail and school operations remain suspended until further notice. Now, the world's highest bridge opened to traffic in China on Sunday. Built across the Hujiang section of the Beipan River, the Hujiang Grand Canyon Bridge deck sits 625 meters above the water, and the main span measures 1,420 meters. It has the world's longest main span for a bridge in mountainous terrain. The bridge is a key link in Guizhou's expressway network. It cuts travel time between the two banks from about 2 hours to roughly 2 minutes. The Sunday opening brought the expressway that links the Liuzui Special District and Anlong County into full operation. All right, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Prime Minister Modi urges netizens to be vocal for local products ahead of upcoming festival. Sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik unveils spectacular sand sculpture at Puri Beach, combining the festive spirit of Durga Puja with the excitement surrounding the Asia Cup 2025 final between India and Pakistan.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. The death toll in Stampede at a rally in southern India's Karur has risen to 39. More than 50 people are getting treatment in various hospitals following injury. The incident occurred on Saturday evening when overcrowding and chaos broke out during actor-turned-politician Vijay's red dress at Karur rally, causing panic and mass fainting that eventually led to the deadly stampede. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin expressed profound grief over the incident. He announced an immediate relief of 1 million rupees from the Chief Minister's Public Relief Fund for the families of those who lost their lives and assured assistance for all those injured. To establish accountability and prevent such incidents in the future, the CM declared the formation of one-person commission of inquiry headed by a retired High Court judge. The commission will conduct a detailed investigation and submit its report to the government. Meanwhile, the police have registered a case against the organizers of the rally. Meanwhile, the central government has sought a report from the state government on the incident. Condolences are pouring in from across the country. President Draupadi Murmu expressed grief over the Karur tragedy and extended condolences to the families of the victims. Prime Minister Modi also expressed grief over the loss of lives in the stampede, calling the incident deeply saddening. The Prime Minister conveyed his condolences to the bereaved families and wished a speedy recovery to those injured. Also, Union Home Minister Amit Shah expressed deep sorrow over the Karur stampede and wished speedy recovery of the injured. External Affairs Minister, who is currently in New York, also expressed grief and prayed for the speedy recovery of the injured. Prime Minister Modi addressed the nation on Sunday through the 126th episode of his monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat. Prime Minister Modi paid tribute to freedom fighter Bhagat Singh and legendary singer Lata Mangeshkar on their birth anniversaries, highlighting their courage and cultural contributions. He spoke to Indian Navy officers Lieutenant Commander Dilna and Lieutenant Commander Rupa, who completed the Navika Sagar Parikrama, who sailed 47,500 km in 238 days, facing storms and raising India's flag at Point Nemo.
हमें इस एक्सपेडिशन में कई चैलेंजेस फेस करना पड़ा, स्पेशली सर सदर्न ओशन में हमेशा मौसम बुरा होता है, हमें 3 तूफानों को भी फेस करना पड़ा और सर हमारा बोट सिर्फ 17 मीटर का है और लेंथ में उसका विड्थ है सिर्फ 5 मीटर। तो कभी कभी कुछ लहरें आती थी जो 3 स्टोरी बिल्डिंग से भी बड़ी थी सर, और हमने बहुत ज्यादा गर्मी और बहुत ज्यादा सर्दी दोनों फेस किया है हमारे जर्नी में। अंटार्कटिका में सर जब हम सेल कर रहे थे, हमारा टेम्परेचर 1 डिग्री सेल्सियस और 90 किलोमीटर पर आवर का हवा दोनों एक साथ हमको सामना करना पड़ा था, और हमने ठंड से बचने के लिए 6 to 7 लेयर कपड़े एक साथ पहनते थे और पूरा सदर्न ओशन हमने ऐसी 7 लेयर ऑफ क्लोथिंग से किया।
The Prime Minister announced efforts to include Chhath Puja in UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage list following Durga Puja's inclusion, urging vocal for local, and also mentioned the ongoing GST Bachat Utsav. He encouraged buying khadi on Gandhi Jayanti and supporting handloom innovations during upcoming festivals. A special report now. Cleanliness not only strengthens a person mentally, physically and spiritually, but also lays the foundation for a healthy society. A clean and healthy society in turn accelerates the nation's progress. With this vision, Prime Minister Modi launched the Swachh Bharat Mission on 145th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi in 2014. The initiative marked the beginning of an unprecedented transformation which soon evolved into a mass movement at the grassroots level. Today, its remarkable impact is being acknowledged across the world. Here's a detailed report.
ये युग सच अभियान का प्रगति और उत्थान का जीवन के हर पहलू में श्रमदान करे इंसान यहाँ
With the dream of freeing the nation from garbage waste and building a clean and healthy India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Swachh Bharat Mission on 2nd October 2014. It stands as one of the largest cleanliness drives in the country's history. Its objectives included eliminating open defecation, constructing toilets, managing solid waste, changing hygiene-related behavior among citizens, and ensuring safe and adequate drinking water supplies across the nation.
The one important aspect was to ensure the quality of water. The Swachh Bharat Mission made a lot of impact. And then stopping the flow of solid waste into the river. He referred to was trying to stop the flow of fertilizers into the river by promoting natural farming on the banks of the river.
The mission did not only cover urban areas but also included rural India. Under Swachh Bharat Mission, Gramin Rural, the focus was on constructing individual and community toilets and eliminating open defecation. Meanwhile, Swachh Bharat Mission Urban emphasized cleanliness of streets, lanes and urban infrastructure.
Prime Minister was our communicator-in-chief. He never missed an opportunity to emphasize the importance of Swachhata. Whether it was in meetings with chief ministers, whether it was on his field visits, he kept emphasizing the importance of Swachhata in all its aspects.
Recognizing PM Modi's commitment to cleanliness since 2021, government offices across the country began conducting special cleanliness campaigns every year. These aim to maintain clean premises, strengthen record management, reduce pendency in ministries, departments, PSUs and regional offices, and to review, weed out files and dispose of e-waste. Over the past 4 years, the campaign has been successfully implemented in nearly 1 million government offices and overseas Indian missions. The Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has had a widespread impact across the country, raising public awareness about cleanliness. This awareness has instilled a sense of responsibility among people to keep public spaces clean. Cleanliness has today become an essential aspect of daily life, and the credit goes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who rightly said that the cleaner the country, the brighter it will shine. Bureau Report, DD India.
And our next story, Indian artistry makes us proud as 8 designers had been invited to present their designs at the World of Wearable Arts show held in New Zealand. Art correspondent Soumya Sharma speaks with the award-winning designers.
Where fashion takes flight as theatre, the world of wearable art turns fabric into fantasy. Let's take a look at Indian designers stitching their dreams on a global stage. Wow, it's one of New Zealand's biggest theatrical events. Known worldwide, here, design steps far beyond the runway. There's an amalgamation of the most creative costumes, choreography, and cutting-edge stagecraft. And this year, 8 Indian designers bring their vision to this global arena.
So my journey with WOW started in 2019, and I've always done like a white or an off-white piece. And when Neon happened, I went back to my memories as a child, looking at Jaishankar and Apollo Circus posters throughout the city. I'm from Gurgaon. And that whole idea of the hula hoops, the circle, the performance, the joker, all of that sort of became the idea for this year's piece, which is called the Levitating Jester.
Garment texture is inspired from fish, the colors are coming from air, from a bird actually, which is native from New Zealand itself. And the shape is coming out of a leaf which is called koru. So that's how we got the inspiration of our garment, from all the 3 elements.
From heritage to imagination, tonight India's voice echoed in every silhouette. This is Soumya Sharma from Wellington for DD India.
In sports, India and Pakistan are ready to battle for the 3rd time in this Asia Cup in Dubai, marking the very first time that both the nations will compete in the final in tournament's 41-year history, giving the clash an added intensity. The men in blue have enjoyed a flawless campaign so far in the Asia Cup, winning all 6 of their matches, including 2 victories over Pakistan, once in the group stage and again in the Super 4 stage. And Padma Shri awardee and renowned sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik has unveiled a spectacular sand sculpture in East India's Puri beach, combining the festive spirit of Durga Puja with the excitement surrounding the upcoming Asia Cup 2025 final. The 6-foot-tall sculpture features a powerful depiction of Ma Durga blessing the Indian cricket team, a visual tribute to national unity, cultural pride and sporting spirit. The captivating installation carries the uplifting message, Ma Durga's blessings, good luck, Team India. Alright, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.